Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me to the next Battlerite Champion Spotlight. My name is Wilky and today we're going to take a look at Taya, Wind of the West, or for the season BLC player, this one is Nomad, or at least for most of it. Right, so let's take a look at our first Abilityraiser boomerang. Throws a piercing boomerang that deals 12 damage and it'll return your opponent max distance. So it'll deal damage twice, however, the second hit will deal reduced damage. There's a cool thing to note, or rather annoying thing, I'm not sure if this is going to be changed in the future, that counters will only be triggered should you be hit on the initial swing or boomerang. So if you actually get hit, trigger a counter as the boomerang travels back, it'll not proc your counter. So keep that in mind, because this happened to be a lot of time. I'm not entirely sure if this is intended or if this is some kind of bug or glitch. So just keep an eye out for that, because it might change in the future, it might also not. Her second ability is called X-Strike, where she basically flings her boomerangs in an arc that will stun the enemy. It deals a pretty good amount of damage where the boomerangs intersect. Exactly, it says at max range it'll deal 6 damage or 6 additional damage, and it'll stun the target for 0.5 seconds. The stun will also occur should you only hit one of these boomerangs, but as I said, should you hit both, it'll deal additional damage. Her spacebar is Haste, where she removes all impairing effects, that means slows and roots, and also will be buffed by 80%, which is pretty damn good. And also her boomerangs will deal increased damage. So instead of the normal 12, you'll deal 15 damage on impact and 10 on return. So basically the returning boomerang will deal 2/3 of the initial damage. Her Q ability is Wind Strike, which basically knocks enemies around her away, clearing the space and dealing 12 damage. This is what it's gonna look like. It has a pretty long and pretty hard knockback, so this can be used very well to space enemies, and should enemies, melees or something, get close to you, this can be used very well to push them away. Relatively fast cast speed, good radius, definitely a good defensive tool. Her E ability is called Wind Bomb, where she throws this little flask or bomb. Enemies caught within this vortex will be drawn to the center. This is a very good setup, for example, for her X ability or X Strike. So let's say you throw this, and even during the flight you can already channel the X boomerangs, because if you see that the enemy is not going to escape, there's a very good chance that you will be able to land her right click. Talking about the X abilities, her first X ability is going to change spinning boomerang or X boomerang into a spinning boomerang, which then instead of the X boomerang will deal a pretty tremendous amount of damage on its own, and will also stun the enemies as it travels back. Let's see if we can do this. Yep, there we go. There we go. You saw the stun. Pretty heavy damage, however, it's kind of tricky and it's relatively easy to avoid since it's telegraphed quite well, and the boomerang stays there for quite a bit. Her second X ability is going to change her Q into Zephyr, in which she dashes forward, which is sort of an engage, and similar to her normal Wind Strike, it'll knock enemies away. So it is basically just an upgraded version to her Q, giving you a slight mobility tool and also the ability to knock enemies away. Her R ability is called Tornado, where she basically saves an ally, or herself for that matter, basically in this tornado, saving her, and you can pretty much choose the direction, and the player who is in this tornado is able to choose the direction. So it's not, if you're actually playing with the Taya in your team and she's gonna throw down the tornado on you, then you'll be able to pick the direction you want to jump. Very good tool to save people out of sticky situations. Can also be used to put you in bad situations should you be using it at the wrong time. Her ultimate is Companion Call, where she basically flings, she basically calls her mount, which is not actually the mount you have. Also during that you'll be quite fast, and yeah, the initial charge of your mount will actually deal damage. So as you can see, that all the targets in this line will deal damage. Your boomerangs will be affected as if you were during haste, so they will deal 15 damage, and you also get a shield in front of you. So let's see if I can show you how this looks. So this is the shield. So enemies that shoot you from the front will not be able to deal damage to you. You're very fast, you're very mobile and agile, so it's quite hard to outrun her. She can still be CC'd, stunned, silenced, and slowed. However, it's quite tricky. So this ultimate is relatively powerful, giving you pretty much the best mobility in the game. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Taya Battlerite Champion Spotlight, and hopefully see you guys in the next one as well.